This is Satish. I would be the trainer for this session. Let's get started. I see few had left, but I don't know. They will be joining back. Maybe till they join back, we can have our introduction and we can get started. No worries, because we waited for 10 minutes, right? So let's see. All right,
Okay.
let's get started. So myself, Satish, I would be the trainer, and I have 11 plus years of experience into cloud and DevOps. My profile is basically cloud and DevOps, and I automate the stuff, and I also do the DevOps pipelines, things like that. When I was a fresher, I started my career as a backend developer, and then I moved towards the platform engineering. Now I platform engineer. Currently, I'm doing the platform engineering. I do the DevOps. I do cloud automation, everything, right? So I have to sometimes act like a developer writing some Python and Node.js code, but predominantly my profile is on the cloud automation. Not just cloud automation, like DevOps, CI/CD pipelines, configuration management using Ansible. So a lot of stuff, right? I mean, it's not one profile. The when you get into infra, it's the cloud platform engineering is a wider one, and also the DevOps engineering is one. And I also make a role of SRE sometimes, having fixing all these issues in production. So it's a wider profile. So since I'm into a startup culture, I had to take care of everything. That's the advantage when you're working in a startup culture, right? Basically, you get a chance to work in end to end. That's where I'm currently. All right. Okay, let's get started. So initially, I would like to get an introduction from everyone. Please introduce you guys about yourself. What is the expectation on this course? What do you know about this course, and what is the expectation, and what is your profile? That should be good enough. All right. And also, I need if you can share the location from where are you, that will be good as well to plan the session. All right. Okay. I'll go in the order of the list which I have it in the participants.
Yeah.
For me first, I go as Igor.
Hi. Morning, all of you. This is Vijay from
Hey
Chennai.
Vijay.
I'm from Chennai. I am from Chennai. I'm one of the
Okay.
senior employee. My base is a Linux administrator. But past 5 years, I worked in cloud also, cloud-based Linux administration. This is my profile
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
But according to the coding, I am zero knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
According to the coding, I am zero knowledge, especially Terraform, Python. I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
idea about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason I joined this course. Earlier, last batch, I attended the session, the demo
Yes.
session. But class is only for 7 o'clock now, early morning 7 o'clock.
Yes.
That is the reason I unable to connect it because that time, early morning 2 o'clock, my shift finish. So seven
Mm-hmm.
o'clock, I'm unable to attend. That is the reason I was not joined that time. This time I got permission. Yeah, this time I got permission from my management.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool,
that
Vijay.
is the attestation.
Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. As I said, I'll go with the participant list. For me, the first person is Igor. Igor, can you introduce yourself?
Yes,
I
hi,
think you're on mute.
Sahil.
Hey.
Yes, hi. Hi. Well, hi, everybody. Uh, well, I'm a DevOps engineer, and I already took one of your cloud automation class before, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think I dropped back at the last minute because I have some thing to do. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm thinking to come back because I really want to start working on cloud automation.
Mm-hmm.
So recently I was able to certify uh, co- uh, in Terraform. It's been like 3 days now. I got my
Mm-hmm.
certificate in Terraform, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to learn more about cloud automation and combine with Python so I can
Okay.
get a good position.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks, Igor.
All right.
Purna Chandra Mishra.
Yes. Hi, Satish,
Hi.
everyone.
Hey.
Very good morning. Actually, I have total near about 14 years of experience in IT, and out of that, I have worked for almost 7 to 8 years in production support, uh, but based technology using Linux and Oracle database. After
Mm-hmm.
that, I actually currently positioning in a role of kind of project management, release management, stakeholder handlings, and kind of business analyst role. But I wanted to go back again in some technical field
Okay.
with
Cool.
this,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
this management area also. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have much knowledge on the cloud, Terraform, Python, though I know these are the
Mm-hmm.
tools and technologies which is currently on demand.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can better position to advise me if I could be get some
Sure.
idea.
Sure. Sure. So your profile is entirely different, right? So far, but just to get in, I mean, you are into what all the technologies so far have you
I
worked in your
actually
entire career? Mm-hmm.
entire career I have worked on Linux, Red Hat Linux,
Okay.
and self scripting and SQL and
Mm-hmm.
PLSQL.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow worked for 2 years as a DBA, and
Mm-hmm.
after that, in 7 years, I am in
Mm-hmm.
this management, project management, client management, budgeting, and
Okay.
PM
Okay.
role. You can
Okay.
say,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Cool. If you ask me, I would definitely say that, since you have a shell scripting DBA experiences as well, it will be easy for you to understand the infra part first of all. Second thing,
yeah,
it is also be interested to know about your scripting part as well because you've already worked in a scripting, right? So
yeah,
it will be
Linux.
easy, but again, very important stuff is just the hands-on what you need to follow. Just following the session will make you understand the concept, but if you
Yeah,
want to implement something in future, that definitely needs hands-on. So I always insist everyone to do the hands-on. So whatever the topic that we're covering in the weekend, spend some time, do the hands-on. That's where you get the knowledge. Okay. All
correct.
right.
Yeah,
So yeah. So the thing is, spending some time will definitely bring you interest. But I will make the session definitely like understandable for you because I mean I don't think it's a problem for you because you already have a good experience in terms of infra part, right?
yeah,
So just
yeah,
that few bits and pieces that you're missing that you need to just get your skills added on. That's it. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. You're from.
I'm from actually working from Bhubaneswar location.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you. I'll move to the next person, Sarath. Hi, Sarath.
Uh, Hi Satish, morning all. So I've got 10 years of experience in IT with the last 2 years in DevOps. I'm
Oh,
looking
awesome.
forward to the Terraform
Hmm.
session. That's me. Thank
Hmm.
you. I'm from Hyderabad.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Awesome. Thanks. So, next person I see is Srikanth. Vijay, can you go on mute? There's a lot of noise from your side. Yeah. Thank you. Uh, yeah, I see Srikanth. Hey, Srikanth.
Hi Satish, this is Srikanth. So, predominantly, I'm from functional background, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working as a Scrum Master. So
Okay.
I'm trying to upgrade myself into the cloud world, right? So
Okay.
at that point of time, I want to learn this cloud automation part of it. And right now, I'm based out in California,
Okay.
and I also wanted to check with you what would be the batch timings as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Sure. Sure. Two things. One is the area that you're trying to switch. It's a great decision because until one point you can be a scrum master and the functional role, but the technical grows a better career in your future, right? That is a good decision, and I can help you as much again as I told you, I can help you in terms of the hands-on things, and you just need to follow and do the hands-on and get all your doubts clarified. That's where I my expectation is. Second, on the batch timing, mostly the batch timing would be morning 7 o'clock, which is IST I'm talking about, right? I think that should be uh, the perfect time, right, for you. I mean, I'm just asking, but it's
Yeah,
your decision. But
you're say 7 a.m., right? So it would be
yes,
around 5:30 p.m. for us. Okay. All right. Thank you.
all right, yep. But the timing again, like you will be getting notified, but mostly, I would say the timing would be like 7 o'clock, right?
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Um, well, I see Srikant, Viji. Hi, Viji.
Hi Satish, good to meet
Hey.
you. And, hello everybody. So this is Vijay, and I've been in the IT for the last 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I work as I'm currently working as a QA engineer, as a
Okay.
manual tester. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to
Cool.
take up automation and take it further. And all these years, my client being the Google, so Python,
Okay.
they use Python predominantly. So um, yeah, I
Okay.
wanted to
Cool.
be part of this demo, so to understand what it takes, to what I
Okay.
should be prepared, how I should be prepared for the automation role, and
Cool. So,
yeah,
do you have any background of the basic cloud knowledge, or it's just completely new for you?
no, new,
Completely new. All right.
yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah,
you,
like
Viji. Yeah.
I've taken a long break, after after the long break or career break, I get into
Mm-hmm.
IT, got into IT. So
Okay. Okay. All right.
yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Viji, for introducing. So you're from Hyderabad, you said, right? You work from
Oh no,
Hyderabad.
no, I'm based out of California.
California. Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. So two people from US timing, and yeah, we'll sort it out. I see one more person joined. Avinash. Sorry, Avinash, I missed you. You are the first person in the list. Maybe you joined a little late or what? I'm not sure. Yeah, go ahead.
No, no,
Sorry.
I just joined. I just joined.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
Okay,
go
no
ahead,
problem. Hi,
Avinash.
good morning, all. So yeah, I'm having close to 8 years of total experience, and I'm based out of Bangalore, Karnataka, India. And
Okay,
yeah, so currently I'm working in AWS DevOps and all this area, but I'm here to advance my skills. See, I'm not looking
cool.
for any basic training, but yeah, I just wanted to have a upper hand in the automation because in our project we only do automation.
Okay,
I see, few of my team members just do lot of Python automations on AWS and Azure. So, and I'm already aware of little bit of Python and definitely more intermediate understanding of Terraform.
hmm,
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to enroll to this course if in case if you are providing advanced level of automation so that I will
okay,
have hands-on in the real-time use cases so that I should be able to implement it seamlessly in the real time.
cool. Yeah. So we'll talk about what is the curriculum, what are we focusing, and then first let me explain the curriculum, what are we going to focus here, and then let's start it with all the questions that you guys have. Okay. So let me complete the explaining this curriculum part, and then we will move to the question part. But I will ask the questions, time to time. Please keep your doubts clarified. Like you might be having a lot of clarification in terms of uh, syllabus or topics, anything that you wish to bring in, please keep me posted. uh, this session is mainly for that, right, to clarify all your doubts, right? So let's get started. So this is a curriculum. I don't know whether you've got it, but this is the one we are going to take it. But in this, there are some modification which is not properly thing. But I'll explain you what are we going to see here. So the cloud automation we are going to see here from Terraform as well as your Python. So there are two things. Why we brought this curriculum as in, because in industry these are the important skill when it comes to cloud automation. So when the DevOps engineer do some CI/CD with Jenkins files, they were doing some build and release operations and things like that. But eventually, major role takes these kind of skills as well. Like people are asking the employees to upgrade their skill in terms of cloud automation by using either Terraform or Python, but this course covers both, right? We are going to talk about Terraform first, and then we will move to Python. What is a Python basic, and then we will move to how do we implement AWS in Python. So here, which cloud we are going to focus is AWS, not Azure. But whoever is interested to work in Azure, I have the previous batch persons. What they do is like, I mean, what I suggest is like get the concept of Terraform. Terraform is applicable for all the cloud. Like You can implement Terraform code for all the cloud. You can use it for your AWS, Azure, GCP, any kind of cloud. But Terraform concept is what you need to understand first of all, right? So that's what we are going to see in this course. What is the Terraform concept? What are the things we have it? With the help of that, you can implement any kind of scenario. So during this course, what I'll cover is I'll cover various topics, I mean concepts under Terraform, and then I'll give you some scenarios. What are the scenarios, like different scenarios, maybe 2 3 scenarios in terms of implementation. I'll give you, you need to implement, come back, demo it, and then we will move to next thing. That's how the model is going to be. Nothing is going to be on the theory part. I don't just explain you just the theory part and then leave it. I will give you the hands-on of each and every concept that we're going to see in Terraform. All right. Okay, so what is Terraform? Why do we need to go for cloud automation? You guys know that already. What is the importance of cloud automation? Basically, to simplify all the cloud operations, right? Any operations that we are trying to do with cloud, if you're doing it manually, tracking is very difficult. Implementation became very difficult. Change management became very difficult. Why it became very difficult? Tracking is a problem, and manual stuff, like people, human error became a problem every time, right? So how we can control, how do we bring it in a coding practice so that everything is properly tracked, which means like tomorrow I'm gonna scale the server from smaller size to bigger size. Where do I track it? Whether it is tomorrow I scaled it and day after tomorrow I might forget, or different people come into the work and think that whether it is scaled or not, whether it is tracked properly, you can easily track it with the help of cloud automation tool with Terraform or whatever that you're trying to do. Especially what I'm talking about is a Terraform perspective. So what is infrastructure as a code? Infrastructure as a code is basically talks about how do we codify our infrastructure using many automation tools we have. We have Ansible, we have Chef, Puppet, Terraform. Then you can ask me, hey Satish, why we have many tools, you have focused only on Terraform? Because most of the companies prefer Terraform now, so we brought that in a tool. But Chef, Puppet, Ansible does beyond that. It also does the configuration management. There are a lot of features when you're using Ansible, Chef, and Puppet. But you can implement your infrastructure as a code with any kind of tools. But what we are going to do here in this course basically is on the Terraform. So before going Terraform, we'll talk about the cloud basics. So I'll talk about the understanding about the AWS cloud. So we'll talk about fundamentals of, first I'll talk about what is cloud computing, and then I'll take you about the AWS account creation if you guys don't have. Once we create our AWS account, uh, one request I ask you guys, like you guys need to at least have a basic knowledge on cloud. If you don't have, we will cover at a certain extent, but you have to improve your knowledge on the cloud part. But because this course is fully focusing on the automation, not focusing on cloud concept, so some concept we will talk about, like how do we create it manually, and then we will come and automate it. So understanding of AWS services, basic thing I will talk about, like what is EC2, VPC, S3, key management, IAM, EBS. All these topics are very generic and very important concept as well. But we will see about like what is what, and then we will move to creating those services manually, and then we will see how do we automate it. Why we need to create manually and then automate it? That gives you an understanding that how we can automate, what are the technical terms that we need to understand in terms of manual creation. I hope everyone, not everyone, but at least many of you know about AWS. But if you guys have not understanding about the AWS services, I can share, like anyway we are going to talk about the basic cloud concepts, but also we will talk about basic scenarios, but not much detail into that. What I'm clarifying here is we are not going very detailed about AWS topics. Here we are focusing on the cloud automation using Terraform first. Okay, so our focus is to get the Terraform concept. So we will create our AWS account. This part is Azure. Whoever is interested to work on Azure, I can help you to set up this in your Azure account. But the course fully, I'm going to give an example, topics, everything is based on AWS. But I can help you time to time if you guys are stuck. When you implement the same thing for Azure, if you're stuck, I will help you. But I can guide you through that if you want to implement it for Azure. But yeah, our focus is on the AWS part, right? And the very important stuff is we need to understand about the Terraform. So basic commands, very less commands we have in our Terraform. We'll talk about what are the command lines, and then we will talk about the configuration language syntax, right? So Terraform configuration language syntax is little different from other programming. If you compare this with Python, if you compare this with Golang, if you compare with any other languages, this is little different. This is not even like a YAML code. It is basically an entirely different code syntax. We will talk about the syntax, how the syntax is going to be looking like, and what are the various building blocks of the syntax. What is blocks? What is arguments, attributes, meta arguments, identifier, and comments. If you properly understand the syntax, you can write any kind of blocks in Terraform. So what is this blocks? These blocks works for different purpose. What are the blocks used for? Let's say in infrastructure, you want to create some resource. You want to read some resource. You want to pass some value to that resource. You want to print some output in your state. So various operations we have to do it in terms of infrastructure. How we are going to implement it using HCL. We call it as HCL, guys. What do you mean by HCL? Not the HCL company. This HCL is a HashiCorp's configuration language. What is HashiCorp? The Terraform is actually owned by HashiCorp. HashiCorp is a company. Okay, so Terraform is owned by them. So HashiCorp configuration language. That's what HCL is about. So Terraform, the coding, what we are writing, right? That is called as HCL, HashiCorp configuration language. How are we going to write all our blocks for Terraform code in this to implement any kind of scenarios in AWS, right? So take an example. Some companies need to provision a EMR cluster. Some company needs to provision some set of load balancer with some servers, with some volumes, with some auto scaling group. So it involves multiple resources. When we are doing it manually, we can do it once, but we cannot do it multiple times. When we want to track it, it won't be that great to track it, right? So when we want to automate, how are we going to implement in Terraform, right? That's the knowledge we are going to get it in this course. Okay. And what is the use of this blocks? And then some Terraform concepts like what are the resources? We have meta argument concepts, and we have different variables, different types of variable we can pass it. What is variable? How do we pass the values to the Terraform code? We will see about, and then we talk about Terraform functions, Terraform values, and data. So these all are related to Terraform. You can ask me, hey Satish, where is AWS here? So these are Terraform concept. This Terraform concept we will implement for AWS, right? So for AWS, in order to perform some operation, for example, you're trying to create a server in AWS. When you're trying to create a server, what will you do? You will go to the console, create server, choose a CPU, choose a memory, do something like in your UI. Next, finish, you do it via UI. When you're writing a code, you have to write it properly. What you have to write it properly? Okay, so first, when you're trying to write a code, you should ensure whether your code has access to that particular service, whether it can create it. And then how do we create the resource? How to pass the parameter? Now, for some resource, you need to read the data from some other services. For example, you need to read the value of the VPC, the networking services from other services. How to read the value? All the possible things you have to automate it, right? So when you're trying to automate all these concepts, right, is going to be used. Maybe for some scenario, not all the concepts going to be used, but at least few concepts going to be used. But in real time scenario, you need all these topics in order to implement your Terraform code. Okay, so till here everything is going to be like Terraform concepts only. Terraform cloud we don't see very detailedly, but I'll tell you because many of the companies are not using the Terraform cloud. Companies are using their own CI servers, right? But Terraform cloud we will talk about like in terms of like how do we deploy our application, how do we make it in a CI, everything we will talk about, right? Terraform graph is just to explore how the relationship is going to be managed. But till here, whatever I've talked about, these all are different topics under Terraform. We will see very detailedly. So first few classes, some of the classes will talk about how to learn this Terraform concepts first. What is resource? What is variable? What are the different ways to pass the variable? What is functions? What are the functions involved? What is backend? How do we set up? So all the topics we will talk about. Time to time, I'll give you the scenarios. So I'll give you some architecture. I'll draw some architecture. I'll give you some scenario that you have to implement this in Terraform. How do you implement this in Terraform? So that is what the way we are going to see about this particular. Okay, so I'll take a pause right here before I move on. Any questions? If you feel that I'm going little faster, right, guys, let me know. I can help you because very importantly that this session mainly for everybody to clarify all your doubts. Okay, so please let me know any sort of questions that you have. This is a session to talk much because you need to clarify all your doubts before you join. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Avinash said something.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, thanks for the agenda. So, but I haven't seen anything related to, because now most of the projects demands to set
Hmm.
up ECS or EKS cluster using Terraform. So,
Yeah.
that part of, I mean, that piece is missing from here. I mean, by any chance you
Okay.
cover how to set up EKS cluster?
As I told you, I do not cover specifically to some service, but I'll give you some sort of scenarios to implement. What I'll do is I'll give you a scenario. Okay, so create this architecture with the load balancer, with the servers, with the auto scaling group and things like that. So I'll give you a scenario. You have to come up with the architecture. Now, one thing which we need to understand is if we are able to think in the way of Terraform implementation, you can do any kind of service, right? Implementing EMR or implement EKS in Terraform is something that how do you provision the EKS cluster using Terraform, which means you have to automate the Terraform code. I mean, you have to automate your EKS provisioning. That's it, right? How do you automate? You have to think in your Terraform way. So how to manage the node groups, how to manage the things. So those kind of stuff are specific to EKS. You need to be good in EKS service first of all, and then come back, write your automation script. So here we are going to talk about the Terraform way, and I can give you a task, and then you implement, come back, and give your code. That's how we are going to see. Now, I mean, everybody come up with some different requirement because different people have different requirement for their company, right? Now, when you have different scenarios, let me know. I can give you the task. I can guide you through how to write it, and then we can see how to implement that. So that's where we can see different scenarios as well, right? Here we are going to talk about generic one, but specific related to your job role. If you have any, bring it up. I can help you to automate that. But this Terraform is applicable for all the services, not just that. So EKS is one way. There is a EMR. How complicated it is to provision the EMR. It is little like a tricky one. When you're trying to provision your custom EMR, it is tricky one. There is a lot of code involved. So how to automate that? When you have that kind of scenario, I can guide you through how to do that. So specific to some services, it is just that you need to have the service level knowledge. If you have service level knowledge, you can implement it in Terraform. You just need to know how the Terraform wave works. If you know how the Terraform wave works, you can easily implement it.
Okay,
You're
yeah. So,
able to understand? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yes, yes. So I have a follow-up questions on the modules.
Yeah.
See, because
Hmm.
nowadays, I mean, at least in our project, we have to, whatever Terraform that our team is producing, so we need to produce
Hmm.
everything in the form of modules. So otherwise,
Hmm.
it will not get approved.
We will see. We
Uh,
will see. We will see. First, we will create the. I mean, what you're telling is first you need to create a module. You need to use that in your Terraform code. That's how you are telling it, right? Maybe
exactly,
tomorrow
yeah.
you need to
Initial
provision
batches,
a dev cluster for EKS, test cluster for EKS. So what you need is generic form of EKS provisioning. You will pass as a variable that it is for dev, it is for test. So you need to modularize. That's what you're asking, right?
exactly. Yeah,
So
I know
that we
that
will
you're
see.
going to cover. Yeah, yeah, I know that
Yes.
you're going to cover based on the agenda. The thing is, I know you will start with all the, basic services, but,
Yes.
I request you to spend more time on the modules, rather than just, playing around the, plain
Okay.
blocks of
What
EC2.
I'll tell you one thing. It's not very difficult that focusing only module. So what I'm saying is creating module is exactly same as creating the resource, but the only thing is you are making everything generic. Here making everything specific. When you create the direct resource, you are making everything specific to for the resource. But when you're making it model, right, you're just making it generic that every time you're going to call upon with a different parameters. That's it, right? Creating module and create. Okay, let's say you're creating a EKS architecture for your company. You're creating as a model, I mean module, right? So when you're creating as a module, you can reuse it for different environment. If you're not creating as a module, what will you do? You will directly pass it as a parameter that can be used for a specific environment. Maybe you will just pass it as a dev. But when you create it as a module, so what you need to know is how to create a module. That's it. Once you know how to create a module, how to use it for your project, that is what you need to know, right? So anything what we are going to create is just, you can just modularize. You can create it as a module, you can use it as a source, and you can include in your all the implementation what you're going to do is. But it's not that focusing only into the module, but it is just the way that how we will implement it. So what I understand is you need to know the way that how it is going to be used in the industry. That's it, right? In a generic way, right? So that is what we are going to see in the concept wise. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah. And also you're covering the Terraform functions, right? You have mentioned, 3, 4 bullet points. So are
Yeah,
you also
very few
covering some
functions.
advanced functions?
We are
So,
not going to see very detailed because we have many functions inside that. But I'll tell you about all the functions whatever we have. We have collection function, numeric function, string function, but we are not going to see specific into each and every function. But I'll tell you how to use the different functions. All right, because if you see there are 100 plus functions are there. We're not going to see each and every function, but at a generic way, I'll tell you what are the numeric function, string function, collection functions, file functions, date functions, different functions we have it, right? So you just have to read about different functions. I mean, I'll tell you like how to get started about it. But again, one thing I'll tell you, we won't be able to cover entire AWS services for Terraform. We will cover about the Terraform topic, but something about like which you have to just explore and try and do it. That's it. On the function side, we are not going to cover each and every function because right, like if you talk about, there are hundreds of functions are available. We're not going to talk about each and every functions, but I'll tell you what are the functions are available, why, where it is used for, when you're implementing some scenario, how to refer that function. So those part we will cover here. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, folks? Any questions, guys? Guys, this is the time to talk. You guys, please unmute, talk, clarify your doubt. Yeah, see, it doesn't mean that people are asking advanced question which you don't even know that how to ask a question. Don't worry about it. Even if it is a simple question, hey Satish, what you're talking about, I don't even understand. How I can get started about this? Like, even if it is any other question, please keep me posted, guys, because I can understand that. I mean, no one is master here, right? Everyone started from zero. That's where people go progress, right? So that's what, just the interest that you need. That's it. Yeah, Purna.
Yeah, hi. So Satish, maybe out of topic, is there anything Kubernetes which is now in demand? We are going to learn something in this.
No, we are not going to see about Kubernetes specific. We are going to talk about the automation specific. If you want to apply the automation for Kubernetes cluster, I can guide you through.
Okay.
The scenario, what I'm saying is that is one scenario. Likewise, you have thousands of scenarios. For those scenarios, how to automate is what we are going to talk about in this course, not specifically to the particular topic.
Okay. So for Kubernetes, maybe we need to self-learn something.
When you say Kubernetes related topics, you have to learn about yourself, because
Okay.
Kubernetes is, when you talk about Kubernetes itself a specialization basically.
Mhm.
Okay, so to bring that automation of those EKS cluster on AWS, so Kubernetes is a generic one. Amazon provides Kubernetes as a service on their infra. For those infra, you can automate. That's what we're going to see here. But when you
Okay.
talk about Kubernetes, what is Kubernetes? How do we deploy application? That's a separate specialization. So for those,
Uh-huh.
you need to learn it separate.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Satish, I have one more question.
Yeah, Avinash. Go ahead.
Maybe this is a special request. Like, you also can you please also include the in the Terraform part, how to define the CloudWatch alarm for the metrics, because right now we are
Yeah.
seeing for the resources, and for alarm and its metrics is also important to use the Terraform to automate that part. So, are you by any chance you're covering that aspects as well?
Okay. See, as I told you, not specific to the services, but when you ask some request that, like, hey, how to do that because I'm using in my company, I can cover that scenario for you. But the thing is, in generic one, we are not cover. I mean, we are not going for each and every service, but the generic service I'll talk about. Yeah. So when you ask, hey, how to use the CloudWatch services for Terraform, I want to create alarms. How to use it? How to implement it with in terms of Terraform? We can see that. Those are, I mean, again, I'm telling you, right? Any service specific topic, if you have it personally in mind, bring it. I'll help you out how to implement it. But in this course, we have a curriculum that, like, some scenarios we will talk about that will be covered for people who are actually starting from basic, right? So that is common for everyone. It is not specific to only. So some people might be interested to go little advanced, then not from this generic topic. Hey, I need to implement this. I have some doubt. So at end of this course, what I suggest is, like, whatever the topic I'm covering and end of this thing, you will definitely have a position to write the code on your own. Any kind of scenario that comes, like, CloudWatch, EKS, EMR, anything that you get it, you will have a confidence to implement on your own. If you have the doubt still that, like, I'm not able to do this, when you bring some scenario, I will definitely help you to implement it. That's what I'm trying to say here. Nothing specific to some topic, but end of this Terraform course, you will be in a position to write the code on your own, that implementing EKS or implementing EMR or any sort of scenarios. How to create it, you will understand, but to extend to write it in a different way, or maybe in your company might need some little advanced integration, that creating a EMR along with the Lambda functions, along with the CloudWatch alarms, something related to some architecture which is really big, which I don't know how to scale my code into such a big infrastructure. And when you get that kind of scenario, I will definitely help. But again, clarifying that this course designed for even who is, like, don't even know about the cloud automation, they can start, learn it, they can write. Whoever already knows it, they can come and pick the topic, like, in the way of how to think it and how to implement for different and advanced infrastructure. But whoever wants some kind of additional things, if you bring the topic here, I can help you to write the code for you in terms of, like, additional topics.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
Satish, one more question. How we can relate it to other clouds? Like you told, you will
Okay. So
explain.
Terraform concept we will talk, I've just spoken, right? Terraform concept we will talk about completely. What is data source? What is output values and functions? This is common. This is common for all the cloud. What you just need is how to refer the documentation. Right? See, we are going to write all the code by referring the documentation only. We are not going to write anything on our own. We are not going to by head anything on our own. Why? Because thousands of service with thousands of parameters for each service are there. We cannot remember each and everything. You cannot write a Terraform code just like that without even referring the documentation. Why? Because the documentation has all the parameters and the required keys and values. We will use the documentation. So using that, you can write the code for Azure, AWS, GCP, anything, but you just have to implement using these concepts. That's it.
Okay. So documentation will be help for each cloud.
We will definitely get the documentation, and I'll tell you how to approach the documentation, how to use it, how to read it, how to customize it. We can write it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? I'll move on. The second thing is we're going to see the infrastructure automation using Python. Here we're going to talk about the fundamentals of Python, how to write the Python code in general, the basic core Python concepts of data types, data structures, conditions, looping, and all this generic topic. We will talk about the core Python, and then we will move to Python Boto 3. We'll see some concepts implementation, how to write the Boto 3 code and implementing some of the scenarios, and then we will finish it. See, migration, don't take it, guys. This is just some wrong content added. Don't consider this migration, but we will talk from AWS SDK. That's what we will see in Python. Python, we will talk about complete core Python concept, and then we will see whatever we have seen right with Terraform, the same set of thing. How do we implement using Python? We will talk about. So using Boto 3, how to implement it. So whatever we have seen in the Terraform thing, we will see how to implement using Boto 3. So for using Boto 3, how do we write the Python code? How do we automate it? How do we create the server? How do we create an architecture? How do we implement it? Right. So that we will see in this Python code using Boto 3, and how do we automate some sort of scenarios. So that is what we'll see in this course. I just kept it short, guys, because since I explained detailedly about Terraform, same thing, we're going to talk about it Python way. First, you need to know the Python first. We'll talk about the core Python concept, even the OOPS concept and things like that. And then we will come back to, again, AWS. We will implement AWS concepts in Python, and then we will finish. That's how it's going to work. All right. Guys, any questions, feedbacks, doubt? Full silence. Can you acknowledge if you see there are two set of people, right? One, you get
Yeah,
everything or you get nothing, right? So I
I
believe
have
that.
a,
So yeah,
yes, I have a question.
yeah.
What are the basic service in AWS we will be using Terraform to deploy?
Um,
Like
we will use
EC2,
IAM. Yeah, we'll
GCP.
we'll use IAM, EC2,
Mm,
S3. We will use
GCP.
VPC, subnet,
Mm,
and all the services. So for some scenario, we will use these services. Additionally, if you would like to practice, I can give you multiple scenarios to implement, and I will help you to write on your own as well, right? Because if I start teaching the scenario, basically, I need to teach you thousands of scenario, because each and every scenario you will not understand how to write it. I will make you to write in terms of scenario. How do we write on your own?
okay.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so Satish, what is the this course duration?
So I will need 30 classes at least, because considering the scenarios, it will take at least 30 classes. It may go beyond that, because time to time we might need to spend some more time on some topic if you guys don't understand. So I do not fix the time that only I will take only 30 sessions. It's not that. I will take the session as like whenever there's a clarification, and I'll, but at least 30 session I need. You can fix it in my, at least, like 1.5 to 2 months at least I need. 1.5 month at least, bare minimum, I'm telling, I need it to complete all this, because I focus on the a scenario wise. I focus on the knowledge wise, not just focusing the number of hours. Okay.
Correct.
So if you
Correct.
ask me, yeah, that's how it's going to
And weekly, how many days it will be?
be. Monday to Friday, 1 hour, morning 7 o'clock. That's the plan.
Every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I
Yeah.
Satish, are you taking any weekend class, weekend batch?
No, I'm not focusing the weekend batch right now. I
Okay,
mean,
okay, just
it's not in pipeline right now. Maybe in future, if it comes, we can.
okay, okay, just simply asking. Okay.
All right. Any other questions, folks? So you will get the further communication and everything from Visualpath. You will get all the communication from them. Let me know if any questions. If you guys wanna have any questions clarified, please post it to them. They will let me know. how the things are gonna work. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Satish.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Bye-bye.